Hey, Grand Ascension everyone, it's me, Baby Girl Slaughter, back with another video. Hope everybody's enjoying their Sunday morning. Today I think is December the 22nd, as they say. A couple things before we get started on the reptilian agenda. It's no conspiracy because they exist. That I'm sure of. I was reading this book, Tender as the Flesh. This author, Augustina Balsterica, this is her in the back, look. Man, I'm gonna tell y'all, the fact that she wrote this book and let her mind go there just trips me out. To me, I know this is fictional, but I really, truly, I truly know that this exists and this happens. And I know belief is a lack of knowledge and knowing. That's why I said I know, because a couple of days ago on Facebook, I put a post out there saying that there's been human meat found in hot dogs. This is basically about human cannibalism, is what it is. It's a story about human cannibalism with a twist. I'm on the last few pages. I should have been done with the book. I've just been putting it off because it just was a difficult read for me. But the way they do these people, they grow people, they harvest them, they feed them top quality feed, they stamp them, they use every part of their bodies, bones, and their skin, not to mention their hair. So don't know, if you got a sound stomach and you want to read it, okay. If not, I'm just going to tell you it's about human cannibalism, okay? Another book up that I just started reading this morning, I got last night, The Original Black Elite. Chief Red Wolf had this on. He talked about Daniel Murray and the story of the Forgotten Era. He was saying that this is a really good read, and he has this, so I ordered it. And so my thing is, hey, I'm just going to give it an opportunity and just see what happens from there and see if I actually, get something out of it. Let me put it that way. My mind is all over the place this morning. So without any further ado, let me get into it. We're reading from Flying Serpents and Dragons. We're also reading from The Murder of Reality. I'm going to pick back up on the Flying Serpents and Dragons, okay? For those of you who saw my video over on Facebook, I appreciate the support. For those of you who did not, go check it out. It's under Nisi Denise or Nisi Slaughter Eaglin, either or, okay? All right, we're going to pick up on the Winged Dragons of Eden, okay? And I want to address something else really quick. A gentleman by the name of Joe, I won't give his last name, had mentioned something about, hey, anybody could put something in a book and I could write a book, you can write a book and it be theories. Yes, but you got to understand what this is. And when you meditate and you ask the creator of all to give you guidance and information, yes, you're going to get just that. You just have to use your discernment, because I know everything that's put out there is not 100% fact or truth, but it is written within our DNA. And that's all I'm going to say. We do have a reptilian part of our brain. That's all I'm going to say. Go look up the human anatomy. Winged Dragons of Eden. Sometimes the ancient religious sources allow dragon references to slip through. One such document, called the Apocalypse of Abraham, found in the Slavic language and dated the 1st century AD, and which is testimony of the patriarch, clearly depicts the serpent which tempted Eve as a winged dragon. And they were standing under a tree in Eden, and in the fruit of the tree was like the appearance of a bunch of grapes on a vine. And behind the tree was standing something like a dragon in form, but having hands and feet, just like man's on his back, 6 wings on the right and 6 on the left. He was holding the grapes of the tree and feeding to the two I saw entwined with each other. The legend of the dragon was quite pervasive in early religious literature. It is seen in another old document called the Testament of Solomon, which refers to the building of the temple at Jerusalem by Solomon. Dated to the 1st century AD and found only in Greek, it describes how the dragon interfered with the constructor of the temple. Described as a wallowing dragon having the limbs of a dragon and wings on its back, the face and feet of a man, its fiery breath burned up on the wood to be used in the building of the temple. It also set the forest of Lebanon on fire. Solomon subdued it and put it to work, cutting stone for the temple. The idea of a dragon obstructing the construction of a temple seems bizarre to us today, but 2,000 years ago, it was not so fanciful, and it shows the preoccupation of religious authorities with the symbol of the dragon. Now, I understand some of you do research and understand astrotheology and how it ties in with scriptures and what it actually means. There is multi-layers in that book. I'm not here to dispute whether Christ actually walked the earth, this being named Yeshua, because we all have the capability within our alchemical processes, within our bodies, to become Christed. All right. We've fallen, which means we're in a lower state, lower chakra, sin, the energy that sits at the base of the spine of the sacrum. I get that. I understand that. I understand what the brain is. I understand all of the mysticism behind that. I'm simply saying to you that there's more to it than just that. No way we could have found all these different body parts and bones and structures of these things, these large winged things, these serpent-like things, and to think that we're the only thing here on this planet. That's simply what I'm saying. So, you know, be that as it may, if this is not for you, I'm just going to tell you, keep scrolling and don't watch. So, anyway, as I was simply saying, there's more to it than just one thing in the text, all right? There's history, there's science, there's astrotheology, and there's actual factual truth in some of that text, all right? Many of the angels of the Old Testament were winged, especially with the cherubim, single cherub, and the seraphim, singular seraph. In fact, the seraphim are often described in obscure religious sources as dragons, and while I'm thinking about it, no, it wasn't this one. Hold on. Hold, please. I don't have it in front of me. I thought I had it in front of me. Hold on. I don't know what I did with it. Crap, I can't find what I'm looking for. I cannot find what I'm looking for. This isn't it. I don't think this is it. No, this isn't it. Yes, this might be it. There's the reason why I stopped reading is I want to show you something. I'm just going to call something out. All right. In this book, Claudio says there's multiple reptilian species. Check it out. For those of you who didn't see this over on Facebook. Because I'm uploading it to YouTube and to Facebook. It's for my YouTube family. Facebook family, you guys already know. If you've been listening. Here's another one. The Lacertans. Lacerta. The reptilians. These are the Terrians that have been here way before man, okay? They were here before us, no doubt. I'm trying to get to the winged creature. Because they could be mistaken as a seraph. Anything, when you say Elohim, you're speaking in a group or team of beings, okay? Here's some, check it out. Here we go, look. You're saying winged beings. All right, I get it. I know what the brain is. The brain is portion of that too as well. If you look at our anatomy, all right, I get that. But what I'm simply saying to you is, yeah, there are things out there that walk among us that are not us. And they're coming from the outside of the dome world. Look. Anybody representative with knowledge of the serpent or the snake is that. It represents knowledge, okay? When you say a winged being or winged creature, yeah, you could be talking about these beings that are coming from the ice walls. That's my point. All right, let's get back to it. It says, it also set the forest of Lebanon on fire. Solomon subdued it and put it to work cutting stone for the temple. The idea of the dragon obstructing the construction of the temple seems bizarre to us today, but 2,000 years ago it was not so fanciful, and it shows the preoccupation of the religious authorities with the symbolism of the dragon. Many of the angels of the Old Testament were winged, especially the cherub, the seraphim, and in fact, the seraphim are often described in obscure religious sources as dragons. Probably the best known of the dragons of the scriptures is one found in the book of Revelation, where the dragon represents evil and the great Satan. Satan, El Satan, means administrator over this dome world. The custodians, if you want to call them Satan, it's not one being, it's a race of beings, and they're multiple different species. Let's get that straight. Okay, let's see. So it says, the best known of the dragons of the scriptures is the one found in the book of Revelation, which the dragon represents evil and the great Satan, which persecutes Israel and the Christian church. It is referred to as the great red dragon with 7 heads and 10 horns and a long tail. According to this book, man would worship the dragon just before the end of the world. All right. Well, we're worshiping dragon-esque things. All right. Money, the root of, what does it say? Is it the root of all evil? I forget. Money, work, your wealth, your cars, your vehicles, your vacations, clubs, Diddy, Usher, Mariah Carey, whomever, Hollywood. Yeah, people don't understand that Hollywood is casting spells on people. That's why they call it Hollywood. Duh. Look up the Hollywood tree. Look up the holly tree. I can't be the only one that sees this, right? I can't be the only one that sees this shit. Anyway, the seraphim, the flying serpent or dragon of Moses. In the Old Testament, explicit references to our serpent god ancestors have been all but eliminated over the centuries through a long process of selection and editing. And we like to call it the revisionist history because we are living it right now. When allusions to winged serpents are found, they are usually interpreted as merely allegorical. However, there is a strange incident related to the book of Numbers concerning a bronze or brazen serpent, which raises many questions that are not fully addressed by biblical scholars. During the second year of Exodus, and after the tribes had left the comforts of Mount Sinai and were struggling across the wasteland, they had a skirmish with the king of Arad in the Negib, and the Hebrews prevailed after much difficulty. The incident of the brazen serpent happened at that time. The people grew restive on the journey, and the people spoke about the Lord and against Moses. Why did you make us leave Egypt to die in the wilderness? There is no bread and water, and we have come to loathe the miserable manna. The Lord sent serpents among the people. They bit the people, and many of the Israelites died. The people came to Moses and said, we sinned by speaking against the Lord and against you. Intercede with the Lord to take away the serpents from us. And then Moses interceded for the people. Then the Lord said to Moses, make a serpent figure and mount it on a standard. And if anyone who is bitten looks at it, he shall recover. Moses had a brazen serpent and mounted it on a standard. And when anyone was bitten by a serpent, he would look at the brazen serpent and recover. It is difficult to escape the conclusion that meaning of the incident is obviously adultery, an activity stringently forbidden in scriptures, and people do it today by putting trees in their houses, but I won't even go there. The seraph of Moses apparently had healing powers, and attribute which appears time and time again with the flying serpent. And I don't want to hear somebody pop off and send me a message talking about keep the Christ at Christmas. Christmas and Christ has nothing to do with what it really means. Do you not know it's an allegory? It's a story. It is a story. It is a story. Hold on for just a second, you guys. Apologize. Putting my phone on mute. Putting my phone on mute. Sorry, I had a call. Apologize. It's a story. Yeah, it's an allegory. And you got to understand it for what it is. All right? That's all I'm going to say. So, the Hebrew word seraph is an unusual one and appears only a few times in... Okay, let me go back. It is difficult to escape the conclusion and the meaning of the incident, obviously adultery and activity. It says stringently forbidden in scriptures. Sorry, you guys. I apologize. Stringently forbidden in scriptures, the seraph of Moses apparently had healing powers and attribute which appears time and time again with the flying serpent. The Hebrew word seraph is usual one and appears only a few times in the books of Old Testament. The book of Isaiah, the seraph, is referred to me as Orif Seraph, or literally flying serpent. It is associated with the Philistines and the Negev lands, which are traditionally the home of the so-called serpent people, the descendants of the Nephilim and the deluge. The reference in Isaiah is as follows. In the year that King Uzziah died, came this oracle, rejoice ye not, O Philistia, all of you, that the rod which smote you is broken. For from the serpent's root will come forth an adder, and its fruit will be flying serpent. And the firstborn and the poor will feed, and the needy lie down in safety. But I will kill the root with famine, and the remnant he will slay. I apologize about the disruption. So, this flying serpent appears again in Isaiah 30 when he refers to the land of Negev, and as a land of trouble and anguish, from which came the lioness and the lion, the viper and the me-oeth seraph. The bronzen seraph of Moses, which was made of God's command, was revered in the temple of sanctuary in Jerusalem until the days of King Hezekiah in the 8th century BC, according to the second book of Kings. In the 3rd year of the reign of Hezekiah, he did the following. He removed the high places and broke the pillars and cut down the Asherah, and he broke in pieces the bronze serpent and Moses had made. For until those days, the people of Israel had burned incense to it. It was called, let me see if I can pronounce this correctly, Nashahatan. The Asherah mentioned here was a shrine to the Canaanite goddess Arsati, and were representative figures of the goddess mounted on a wooden pole. It apparently stood still. It stood side by side with the Nanashti, which was a brazen flying serpent also mounted on a pole. Nehashtan is a form of the word Nahash, and that is the serpent of the Garden of Eden, and actually means he who knows all, which represents knowledge. Again, the caduceus, the symbol, the pin that the doctors wear, the snake intertwined on the pole, serpent knowledge. It is doubtful that this was the original seraph made by Moses about 1450 BC. Take away 1,000 years as 450 BC. And that it survived until the time. In either case, it demonstrates that the worship of the serpent gods, as exemplified by a flying serpent, was well established among the Israelites during the period of the kings and the judges, and suggests that Yahweh had at one time been identified with the flying serpent. This association is discussed later. I'm going to tell you, people keep praying to these, going into these temples, and there's nothing wrong with having community. All right. But you have to understand certain things. And when you get to a point of understanding things, once you see, you cannot unsee. You cannot. All right. You cannot. People are praying to the so-called Yahweh and the creator or God, but you don't know what God it is of this planet. That's my point. And I know I'm going to get some feedback for that. And I don't care. Because once you know, you know. Okay? Once you know, you know. Again, Yahweh had at one time been identified with the flying serpent. This association is discussed later on. The term seraph has worried biblical translators and commentators over the years. Mario Bellingio's book back here. This book will ever change your mind about the Bible. I think it's what it's called. And he wrote another one. People are praying to this God, but you don't know which God you're praying to. You really think it's the God in the Bible. Well, there's two different gods in the Bible. And people will say, oh, no, it's not. Go back and reread and study. Reread and study. And then once you do that, I want you to read all the other religious texts around the world. And then come back and tell me. Especially I want you to read the Quran. All right? Seriously. You praying to Yahweh, you praying to the jinn, baby. That's all I'm gonna say. Not one and the same. The creator of all, you want to call God, he didn't need a name. It's an unnamed being in the void. Just respect and know that. okay? It doesn't have a name. We're giving it a name. But who told us to call it God? Because I know he didn't say that. I haven't read it nowhere in scripture. Can somebody point that out to me? Just saying. The association is discussed later on. The term seraph has worried biblical translators and commentators over the years. It is translated as fiery serpent. In the King James Version of the Bible, and I have King James Version of the Demonology. That's a good book. Don't tell you not to read it, though. He wrote that before he wrote the Bible. And he was gay. Just going to let you know. And he was melanated, or as you people like to call yourself, black. So, yeah. Bada boom, bada bing. It is translated as a fiery serpent in King James Version of the Bible, but the modern tendency is not to translate the word at all, but to render the Hebrew as given. Seraph does not fit any convenient classification or translation. It seems more probable that it is borrowed word from the Canaanites who acquired it from the Mesopotamian heritage. The seraphim, plural form, were supposedly part of the heavenly host, and along with the cherub and the apamim, Apanninum, guarded the heavenly drum. The Hebrew Apocalypse of Enoch is a pseudographic document written in the 5th century AD, describes the heavenly abode where there are 4 seraphim of winged angels who guarded the throne, but did not serve on the divine chariot of Shanaki. Now, I understand the mystical aspect, or the astrological aspect, or the anatomy of the human brain. I understand what that means. But I'm also telling you that this is twofold. There are winged serpents, there are winged beings. That's what I'm telling you. And you just have to know this stuff. I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. There's always 2 sides to a story. And actually there's 3, if you really want to look at it. The seraphim have 6 wings. The same winged creature is also described in the book of Isaiah, wherein the prophet says, in the year the king Uzziah died, I saw the Lord sitting in a throne, high and lifted up, and his train filled the temple. Above him stood the seraphim. Each has 6 wings. With 2 he covered his face, and with 2 he covered his feet, and with 2 he flew. The early Hebrews apparently equated dragons with flying serpents, both which came under the name seraphim, the angels who guarded the heavenly throne. This information is also found in Gnostic documents, which contain numerous references to the seraphim, or wing-shaped angels, who were the guardians of heavens. The origin and the term seraphim. Okay, now I'm going to read that one little part, and then we're going to get into the murder of reality. The roots of the term seraphim may well be in Mesopotamia. The flying of fiery serpent atop the pole, worshipped for its healing properties, symbolically represents Enki. Also symbolically represents the third eye, the pituitary system. It also represents your 7 chakras, the 7 seals, the 7 churches, the 7 candlesticks. It is an alchemical process in the body. I get that. I understand that. But I'm also telling you, there are other things that walk this earth, and it cross-correlates into a nice, neat package. If you can see it. If you can't, and it's a stretch for you, I don't know what to tell you. Don't know what to tell you. Enki, the Sumerian god of healing. I have a poster over here of the Sumerian's kings list. For those of you who say this is all allegory and it's all a story and it's all in our head. Okay, so then what about these other creatures that have been seen, these shapeshifters? What about these things that come from beyond the ice walls? Where did they get these advanced alien technology that our black military budget, black budget off books people are using? They got it from somewhere. These beings came from somewhere, and the U.S. government has been hiding this stuff in plain sight for years. It's not just symbolism anymore. This shit is real. That's all I'm saying. No theories, no conspiracy. It's real. People have been killed because of this stuff. Because of what they found out and what they know. Okay? The Sumerian god of healing, who is often represented by the serpent or the snake symbol. There is also a curious resemblance of the snake wrapped around the pole, the caduceus, later used by the Greeks as the caduceus, or a symbol of healing, which doctors wear. In Sumerian art, the serpent is a symbol of immortality, as we shall see. 4 years ago, I did a video about Lord Enki and the transmission he sent to our Earth dome. Y'all need to go check that video out on my YouTube page. In the famous epic of Gilgamesh, aka Nimrod, the hero is frustrated in his bid for immortality when the gods, through his grandmother, Umtupishti, the Sumerian Noah, let me repeat that again. The hero is frustrated in his bid for immortality when the gods, through his grandfather, Umtupishti, the Sumerian Noah, Astruhasis, he's got another name too. He's got like 4 names. Refused to bestow upon him the gift because he wanted to live a very long time. Okay? Go look at the Sumerian kingdoms and look and see how long these beings lived. And then you come back and you tell me if it's real or not. Just saying. Umtapishti provides him with information on how to obtain a magical plant which heals and prolongs life. Oh, this is a good one. After obtaining the plant, Gilgamesh plans to take it to his home city of Uruk, and there to share it with his fellow citizens. On his way home, he stops by a pool to bathe, a big no-no, leaving the plant unattended on the shore with his clothes. As he is bathing, much to his horror, guess what grabs it? A snake. The snake grabs the magical plant and takes off with it, shedding its skin as it goes, thus symbolizing the act of regeneration. In this epic, the serpent is called Seri, and the similarity of the word seraph is striking and suggests a common origin. The serpent people, or the Nagas, not to be confused with the niggas. All right, I'm just going to say it with a GGAS. The Nagas of ancient Sanskrit sources who are said to have inhabited the mountains of India and Tibet were called Serapa, and they're still there. They're all around the world. They could be your neighbor. The Theosophist H.P. Blavatsky, which Rhonda did an excellent video on her and the Theosophy Society, published a comprehensive study of these ancient people in her remarkable work, The Secret Doctrine. She asserts that the Nagas, or the Serpa, of India are unquestionably the Jewish serpent of the Old Testament as derived from the term serapi, meaning serpent. I have to say, I'm laying the pieces to the puzzle out for you. You just got to use that brain of yours and go read and research for yourself and tell me if you come back with the same thing. That's all I'm saying. The Secret Doctrine. She asserts that the Nagas, or Serpa, of India are unquestionably the Jewish serpent of the Old Testament, derived from the word serapi, meaning serpent. Why do you think they have helped these particular people, those who say they are but are not, put into positions and seats of power all around the world? Why do you think this specific race of light-skinned beings, not all my pale-skinned brothers and sisters like that now. Nah, I'm not going to say that because I got plenty of them in my family. Why do you think this specific group of people have all the money and control everything? Why do you think the governments around the world support Zionism? Why do you think that they're allowed to do what they're doing? And it's because of what? These things, these beings, these the seraphim, working hand in hand with those who want to usher in the, what did you call that, Chief? The Manashihak. If one finds utensils upon which is the figure of the sun or the moon or a dragon, he casts them into the Dead Sea, a symbol of destruction. Pictures of all the planets are permissible except that the sun and the moon and that of the dragon. When flying serpents or dragons are found in the culture of people throughout the world, they are usually considered to be benevolent creatures and in most cases are actual ancestors of man. And they are. I don't think all of them are like that. So if any kind of non-human being sees this video, I'm here to tell you, I'm not biased, though I am for team sentient ones. All right. I ain't gonna say human, because we're not sea beasts or monsters. I'm just going to tell you, they're not all like that. Some of them want to be left alone and just want to live While these flying serpents or dragons are found in culture of people throughout the world, they are usually considered to be benevolent creatures and in most cases are actual ancestors of man. This is why the European view of the dragon as evil is unique. This is why the European view of the dragon as evil is unique. European view. This evil nature of dragons is prevalent in the Jewish literature such as the Mishnah. The part of the Talmud, which is the Jewish commentary on ethical behavior. Has anybody read the Talmud? I got it over here. Do I need to read that too? The part of the Talmud, which is the Jewish commentary on ethical behavior. In a discussion on which pictures or images are permitted, dragons are proscribed. If one finds utensils upon which is the figure of the sun or moon or a dragon, he casts them into the Dead Sea, a symbol of destruction. Pictures of all planets are permissible except the sun and the moon and that of the dragon. Why do you think they war with Islam? Jewish people. No hate. This is just analysis. This is for educational purposes only. It's analysis. When the three Abrahamic religions were founded by these things, these beings that are not human, if you want to use the word human. The warning against depicting dragons is repeated in other tactics of the Talmud, which representations of all other planets are permitted. The sun and the moon and the dragon are specifically prohibited. But yet we have the Star of David, the Star of Remphan. This seems strange. It is probably due to the fact that the sun and the moon are associated with the Sumerian gods of Palestine and Lebanon, right here in the USA. Shamash being the Sumerian sun god of the moon, being the symbol of sin, a lower state of consciousness, lower aspect of the body. A major god of the pantheon, which I got over here in the puzzle, not a puzzle, but in a poster. The Sinai is named after him. The dragon, of course, represents the entire Sumerian pantheon, all being reptilian gods. Bada boom, bada bing. Bada boom, bada bing. Yeah, I suggest you guys go read the Talmud. I'm going to say that one more time. The dragon, of course, represents the entire Sumerian pantheon, all being reptilian gods, the Elohim. Next up, all right. Tasaboth, the army of the Lord. Now war arose in heaven, Michael and his angels fighting against the dragon. And the dragon and his angels fought, but they were defeated, and there was no longer any place for them in heaven. And the great dragon was thrown down, that ancient serpent, who is called the devil and Satan, the deceiver of the whole world. He was thrown down to earth, and his angels were thrown down with him. Revelations 12, 7 and 9. Who do you think this dome world belongs to? It ain't no planet, baby. This is a dome. And there's many domes behind the ice walls. Who do you think this world belongs to? I'm going to say that one more time for you people who are in denial. And the great dragon was thrown down, the ancient serpent, who is called the devil and Satan, the deceiver of the whole world. He was thrown down to the earth, and his angels were thrown down with him. Who do you think this dome runs? Who do you think runs this dome? Custodians, baby. They set up these people all around the world in seats of power. This is why the world is the way it is, and this is why Zionism is a thing. Traditions of the hosts are assimilated linguistically with the Watcher, identical with the Tasaboth or the fallen dragon, depicted as a conquering army. The Tasaboth is a derivation from Tezavet, the crew, and designates a crew or a ship or a vessel, spaceship, mothership, not from Earth. Judaic tradition casts the Tasaboth as an army of a boat or a naval itinerant, a term cognate with the Sabi priesthood, the dragon priesthood. Collectively, the star people, the Sabi, are identified with the Tasaboth and the illumination, the shining ones. The Tasaboth, Hebrew for crew member of a spaceship, is a permeation of the Egyptian vernacular, Tachiba, meaning army of soldiers. Hope I'm pronouncing these words right. Transliterated from the Semitic classification Tasebi or Chebi, is deduced from the Egyptian denomination Techibi, which means 10,000, indicative of an army commander. Translated into Latin as legion, the unit represents a commander of fallen angels, referred to as the multitude or hosts. Do I need to go in and talk about the baddest one of all, Azrael? Because he still exists. They live a very long time, people. In the early Egyptian lexicon, Techibi suggests ground troops or infantry, as Techiba is related to the word Techib, meaning spear, harpoon, or stab. The title Chichaba, I hope I'm saying this right, Choab, signifies a commander of 10,000 troops. Techibi, rendered in the Bible of Joab, the name of King David's commander. His Egyptian epithet signifies a commander of an army, consistent with the Phoenician title Dejeb, leader of troops, Dejeb. Possibly the same word. In Judaic traditions, the Tessaboth is aligned to Techivi, slaughter, my last name, by blood, not by marriage, by blood. Established in the Egyptian lexicon as tabak, to slaughter or butcher. From tabak or tzibi, an army of butchers. The tevetch is provident in the modern Arabic tabak, to ruin or disfigure. A variant of the item tabak appears in the Semitic word tabak with an H, the verb to cook, implicit of the ritual humiliation and bloodshed. Phonetically, tabak, which is to butcher, is similar to the Phonetic term dijabaka, to slaughter, slay, or kill, conjunct with dedebi, a leader of troops, and dedebua, to pray, beg, or petition. In modern Semitic, dedebi is related to the stem dbr, read as debar, to guide, manage, control, or lead out. Defined in the Torah as the Exodus. Debar, which means to control, translates into the Greek kumburatonoa, to steer, a nautical term referring to a ship or governance comparative to a host. In ancient Arabic, dabir, to guide, is a symmetrical with dahaba, to die, to kill, or murder. Dahab informs dahab, a sacrifice, exponential in the Indo-European languages of dalabalos, from Sanskrit root dev and deva, progeny of dejeb, commander, conveys the Arabic plural noun diyab, wolf, otherwise a dog soldier, a convert symbol of the jinn. This race of beings is consistent with the dog star Sirius and share similar characteristics with the host. Dogmen. Y'all think the U.S. military ain't got some secret underground base where they be tinkering with hybridized beings? They did that in the Lost Book of Inky. Where do you think they got that from? They just reverse engineered craft. We got some smart people in this dome. They've had help. Those who are in power were put there for a purpose. They had help by these beings. I don't care how you feel. It's a lack of knowledge and knowing if you do not understand that. You're ignorant if you think otherwise. Keep it scrolling. Keep moving. Dynamically, the jib, a leader of troops, Arabic debar, contrasts with its allomorph, techebi. The Hebrew tasaboth is an army. Tasabi is partnered in the ancient Egyptian with the stem word tasab, a covered wagon. Philologically, comparison suggests tasab distinguishes a type of sailing vessel, demonstrating the Hebrew noun teba or teva, an ark. Teba specifies a boat. harmoniously to Tassaboeth, a crew of a ship. The idea of sailing vessel characterized as a chariot or a covered wagon is further referenced in the book of Ezekiel and is coherent with the solar vessel. I did talk about this guy who on the History Channel on Ancient Aliens recreated this spaceship according to what he read, and he was from NASA. According to what he read in the Bible. I'm just going to say it was a round craft. That's all I'm going to say. Jewish lore regards the chariot as a symbol of concealed knowledge known as the Merkabah mysticism. And yeah, it is. It's according to us. We are Merkabahs. And that's true. Drawn from the Hebrew office Merkabah, a bishop, equivalent to the Syrian root word marab, which is to educated. The vessel chariot connotes the angelic conqueror. In the book of Ezekiel, the prophet refers to the vehicle of God as the Merkabah or Merkavah, the chariot. As a polymorph, the Merkavah encodes the Merhava, a fallen saint, a bloodline derived from the Mer or serpent. There are additional puns with regards to the gods of chariots, the Merkabah, which, and I'm trying to go off of this by memory. Hold, please. I'll tell you. I should know this by the top of my head, but I haven't finished my coffee yet. So y'all got to excuse me on this one. I'm going to have to refer to something else. It's within our body, and I should know that, but not it's Sunday morning. And okay, here is what I'm talking about. Okay, Merkabah translates to Mer is light, Ka is the spirit, and Ba is the body. So it's light, spirit, body is which we are. Now the symbolism is that, but it also refers to these beings, right? And these beings also, some of them possess what we have. They are sentient beings. I'm just going to say that. That they're just of a different class, all right? Okay? That's what I'm trying to say. So the Semitic word Merkabah expresses Mokabak, the female principle of Baka, B-K-H, to weep or bewail. God's crew members, the Tassaboeth, are portrayed as the harbingers of death. God's crew members, the Tassaboeth, are portrayed as the harbingers of death, personified in classical mythology as the wailing siren or harpy, equal in Judaic tradition to the singing host. Identification of the Tassaboeth, naval crew, allied with the military, is adduced also the Roman language. The Tassaboeth is translated into the medieval Latin as hostess or host, an army, extracted from the ancient Greek Osius, holy. In the Roman Church, the angelic host, the Arabic dubar, which is a leader, is correlated with the sacrificial death of the hostia, the Arabic dabah, D-A-B-H, understood as the victim. The victima is matched in Hebrew with the etonym korban or victim, explicit or a sacrifice. Early practices of raising an army city are traced to the worship of the deities associated with the warfare, evident in the Sumerian dialect, Ra'aza, or rage or annoyance. Old Testament refers to the God of the Hebrews, described in the plural as the Lord of the hosts. You've really got to read this text as a story and understand that there is truth and there's symbolism behind that. It's threefold, I'm telling you. His conquest parallels the subjugation of men. He would go in and use us as workers. Go in and pillage and kill all the men, kill the children, rape the women, keep the children that are less than 6 years of age. I'm just telling you. The surrender of humanity is a symbol of the verbal root shom, or keeper of humanity. We are under their thumb. God and his Elohim are depicted as conquerors of the world and the domesticator of man. What kind of God would slaughter and have you pillage and kill women and children? That's not the God that I worship. And stop, I hear you Christians back there saying stuff. I'm not misconstruing anything. I'm reading the text for what it is. But you got to understand, I've read quite a bit. So, mediation between the host and the mankind specifies a religious covenant. The The Barith, modern Hebrew, Brit, cultic of the Shebelith River, refer to the chapter 5, the fallen tribe, and the Old Semitic, the contractors between the Britain, and refers to the covenant of heaven. Muslim scholars argue the covenant of God is commensurate with the salam, the religious submission, a homonym of salam, which is peace. Salam is relative to sama, heaven, and the samaha, to forgive. Unequivocal, the surrender of resignation of oneself is expressed as in Arabic as as-salam, transliterated into English as Islam. Early accounts of the Elohim, plural, the gods, the reptilian gods, imply a military dictatorship, which we are under, characteristic of invasion and conquest. Historically, the copulation of man is attributed to the angelic crew, the Tasaboa, conceived as the host. Itinerants, the sailors, are annotated in Aramaic as Zari, translated alien, stranger, or foreigner. Relative in Arabic to Zau, which is light. Hebrew, Zohar, shine. The noun Zo is constant with the Arabic classification Zuhura. Alternatively, Zohara, Venus, and Zur, early afternoon prayer. Signal with the evening star, described as a light bringer of the fallen day star. Zohara is bracketed in Greek with the Sauros, lizard. Saros, S-A-U-R-O-S, lizard. Saros is deduced from the Sumerian etonym Zar, an alien, indexed in Hebrew as the foreigner, and appears in the modern Hebrew location Khazar, or space alien. The compound Khazar or Khazar, K-H-A-Y-Z-A-R, is read literally as a star alien. Epigraphically, K-H-A, is registered as a star and is consistent with Kahi, K-H-A-I, of or from the stars, noted in the English as starman. Technically, Khazar, K-H-A-Y-Z-A-R, a starman, otherwise an alien, appears in the Greek name Khazar, K-A-I-S-A-R, rendered in Latin Caesar. Caesar or Khazar's esoteric name reiterates the connection between the angelic lineage of the emperor in conjunction with the heaven. In hieroglyphic Ka, K-H-A, a star is grouped with the terms Kora, Q-A-R-A, or K-H-E-R, Ker, used to denote war. In comparison to the fallen host, depicted as the star of the sovereign, advent of the star Venus is iconic of the destruction of the earth, collaboratively of angelic victory and the development of the monarchy. Philographically, Ka, K-H-A, a star, is interchangeable with the Sumerian title Ker, or Kar, K-A-R, a king or an angel, defined to the origin tongue as a hunter. The epithet Kar, K-A-R, is cognizant with the Hebrew word Kari, K-A-R-Y, soldier. Archaically, the multitude of hosts, Kar or Kari, is rendered in the medieval English as the noun Kori, to hunt. This is a Greek statue of Kar, or horse, the hunter in Roman military dress. Alternatives of Kar and Kari is transferred into the English as royal and warrior. Alternatively, king and killing. The Sumerian's titular Kar, sovereign, provides the immediate root word of the name Horus. Translated into hieroglyphs, a Kar or Har, or hunter, represented by the royal falcon. A migratory bird, the hawk, denotes the host. The Perigurus, defined in Latin as alien, initiate. The Sabi, or the star, cults. The Saba, or referred to variously as the Sabi, a child. They are grouped with the Azkazuri, illuminate, Illuminati, Azuri, Akzuri, Illuminati. I'm going to say that one more time. An initiate, the Sabi of the star, quotes, cults, Saba, are referred to variously as the Sabi, a child. They are grouped with the Akzuri, Illuminati collaborations of the Khazar or Khazar, listed as the Star Men or the Emperor Khazar or Kaiser, Kaisar. Rendition of the Kaiser in the Semitic arguments, the term Kasur Guf, an incorporeal form, Khazar or Chazar, Khayzar, is indexed in the Old Persian with Kasyatia, a king, shortened in the late Persian, Shah, Arabic Shah, Shah, abbreviate the title and transcribed into the Syriac script as Tazar or Zar. Variations of stellar or star, and Tazar is Tsar. To summarize, the enlightened or shining one is identical to the dragon or angel, a flash, cataloged in apocryphal literature as the Akazar. Gnostic scholars mistranslated the affiliation as the Brothers of Light from the Arabic corruption Akazuri. Theoretically, in the Latin to the Illuminati, the Akazuri is a cultic of the Akazari, a term connoting human angelic offspring, literally alien or visitor. Classification of the Akazuri is read in the original Sumerian or Syrian as a brother of an alien, a title interchangeably with the angelic implicit of the king, written as Shah. And this is over 2007. Lake Lucerne in Switzerland is a picture of a UFO, a round disc. And that's over Lake Lucerne. Lacertas, the Lucerian race, which I showed you in this book over here. Cryptonically, there are additional wordplays at work in Aramaic, Titler, Akazari, connoting deity offspring. In Hebrew language, Akazari is rendered as the compound Akazur, which is to be meaning cruel. And that's spelled Akhzari, and is preserved in Latin. Tributaries regarding the hostia, literally victim or sacrifices attributed to the worship of the host. Semitically, God's crew is cruel and the host are hostile. The host is mutual, with the Latin adverb hosticus, foreign or strange, alien, relative to hostis, an army. Similar in the Hebrew, Tasaboth is identified with Savea, S-V-A', which means horror. In summary, it's a Semitic references in contemporary culture to alien vessels in the modern vernacular. UFO or UAP is matched with the much older orthodoxy. The epithet Zuri, Z-A-R-I, in quotes, an alien, translates to the modern Arabic visitor, a visitor, and is identical to a crew member, the Tasaboth. Both are described as angelic and latent with the modern phenomena of the starship in accordance with the Hebrew theology. The Kalalit, pictured in the Judaic accounts, the Kalalit describe large vessels, literally spaceships, floating over the waters of space. And he has references and sources here at the bottom. And we are finished with that. He's got 2 pages of references and sources. Next up, chapter 7, Al-Kahid. Okay, so I hope this has been beneficial for you all. You know, I always got to add my little banter with it. I will say this. Some of you will say this is just a book. People put this in there. And that keeps coming across my mind what Joe said. But I'm here to tell you, if you don't know certain things, you need to educate yourself on that. Do I believe there's a creator of all? Abso-freaking-lutely. Absolutely. Do I think we're the only ones that's ever been created? Heck no. I know that to be true. I know. It's like I already knew this information. It's like I'm scratching the surface and I'm just about ready to pop my pineal gland. And then all the information, all of it's going to come flowing back. I'm just grabbing it. I'm just grabbing at bits and pieces of it. And it's like I already knew this stuff. It's like it resonates with me. It's because I already knew it. And I'm just going to say, I am awakening. I'm waking up. And I need to wake up faster. So, as I've always said in every video, I hope this has been beneficial. I hope this message finds you well. And I truly, truly mean that we are all eternally bonded, whether you know it or not. And I always say, be the change you want to see all around this earth dome, because it's up to you and I to make a positive change. I read from Flying Serpents and Dragons, And I read from The Murder of Reality. We have much more to discuss and much more to read. Also, I made references to Claudio's book, Terra Infinita, Map of the Dome Worlds. And I also pulled out quickly the Book of Wisdom because I wanted to reference us as being, we are Merkabahs. We are light, spirit, and body. 3 bodies. We are the 3 bodies. We are sentient beings, and we possess the ability to transmute or to transform. This is why they work hard to poison us. This is why they work hard to keep this information hidden or put it in plain sight where people will not be able to identify and wake up to the truth of what this is. This is a perversion. You all know who runs this world. Should not be a question now because I've read it to you. All right. You guys, I'll talk with you soon. Thanks for joining me. Be the change you want to see because it's up to you and I to make a positive change. We are eternally bonded. Namaste.